Hello and welcome to Re-enthused. Today we're doing a very simple soldering job, just to try to add some composite output to my ZX81. ZX81 being a very early 8-bit micro by Sinclair Research, coming just before its ZX Spectrum 48K rubber key, the probably most famous of Sinclair's machines, and ignoring the C5 of course. But it's RF normally, so you have to put it through a television output and stuff, etc. So it's quite easy though with certain models to composite mod it, so you can get a relatively decent picture straight through composite, which makes it a lot easier to record and actually get the thing showing a picture. Yeah, it's not a complicated circuit, but it's quite a useful one. So here we are with the Sinclair ZX81. Now before we begin, the big thing with this is obviously we're going to have to take this apart, and the first thing we're going to come up against is the keyboard connector. This uses, of course, the devil's own membrane keyboard, and that basically means it's an odds or even chance that it's just not going to work after we've done this. These membranes, when they're old, they break so easily, and this one, yeah, has not been apart before, so bit of a Schrodinger's cat situation inside with the membrane. They're also really annoying to replace because that's literally a sticky bit on the keyboard. But you can get replacements. There are companies now making them, so that's something at least. But anyway, we're after fixing the video, so if the keyboard doesn't work, it's not going to stop us making a video. Right, so we have ourselves a couple of screws, one here. And one here. And if we pull these feet off, there we go, that glue's starting to go. Then more the back, I can't remember. No, none there. And, oh, there's one there. Right, so there we go. So another 3 underneath the feet. Yeah. Re-stick those down again. The glue that's there already, that has definitely died. That's interesting. Was that the right screw for that? Oh, I guess it was. Okay, so the front two are silver ones. Now, I've been told this is probably one of the kit ones because it came in a plain box, but it's the official box that's got ZX Sinclair labelling on it. I think one of the other things have just... yeah, they've just fallen off. Okay, right. So we can now lift this up, again being very careful because we're going to be hitting the membrane. It's the other way around, you know what. Right, so now the back's off. We need to remove a couple of screws here. So this one. And this one. And now this should move. Right, so this is where we have to be careful of the membrane. So I can already hear it cracking. We're going to have to remove it obviously to do what we want to do. So there you go. It's this very weak plastic style that goes inside these. Now if we just pull up, oh, I can already see that's breaking. Yep, there we go. It's broken, but this was, yeah, it was odds on it was going to happen. We can just cut it back and it should work, but okay, I'm going to have to get some pliers to actually... oh, actually that's going to be tough to actually make work, but we'll try. Otherwise, yeah, I can just buy a replacement, but annoying. Right, let's get my needle nose pliers so we can try to get this out. There we go. I think the small half actually may have survived. No, it hasn't. It also cracked. There, look. So we have to cut that whole bit off. There should, I think, be enough still to try and reconnect it. We'll try. Right. So what we want to do is take that off. That's the modulator. This is the TV modulator. And if you look on the modulator, there are 3 holes. So we've got this hole here, which is empty, this hole, and this hole. So this is the actual signal from the for the graphics, and this is the plus 5 volts. What we need to do is we need to take a transistor and we need to connect it to the video source. We also need a 100 ohm resistor and potentially a smaller resistor if the video is too bright. So first of all, let's find our transistor. Right, so we're going to use a 2N3904. I've got this little pack of transistors, and that should be this one, or the one at the front. I think it's this one though. Soon find out. Let's have a look at the yes, right. So this is a 3904. So let's close that up and put that away. So that's one thing we need, and we need a 100 ohm resistor. Okay, and well, we'll find a smaller resistor. We need one about 18 to 33 range, but we don't know if we need it yet, so we're trying to find it. Right. So this is quite a simple job. Put those to one side. We need to remove the resistor, well, the connection that's currently at the video, because that will no longer be needed. Now you can, if you want, remove this whole all the components out of there if you don't particularly want to undo this. I always like to make stuff so that's undoable, so what we'll do is we'll tie this away so it's not bridging on anything, but we'll have it there, so if we ever do want to undo it for some reason. To be fair, there's no good reason, unless you want to sell something that's cherry, then we'll just be able to reconnect it. Or disconnect. It's really in there. There we go. Right, so that's disconnected. And we also need to make sure that this 5 volt is no longer connected. So we're going to have to cut that off. We can just resolder it afterwards. But it's either that or it's remove all of the modulator. Just desolder it. So instead we're just going to cut it off. Which is easier said than done. I think we got that. Yep, there we go. We have our 5 volts. And we're going to get our ground from the actual casing itself. It's nice and simple. Right, so in terms of how we wire this up then. We take a look at the transistor. Transistor's got a kind of, you see it's like a D shape. So it's got a rounded bit at the back and a flat bit at the front. So we have the flat bit looking up at us. It's also got the label on it. Then if we look, the middle pin is base. And the base is going to be going into the video signal. So the signal that comes in through here. I've got to disconnect that as well. I forgot about that. We'll do that in a second. Then on the to the left, as we look at it here, of the base we have the emitter, and the emitter will be going to ground via a 100 ohm resistor, and it will also be going off to the actual video out. And on the other side, on the right, we have the we have the collector, and the collector will be our 5-volt source, the line we just cut. So let's cut the video cable so we've got access to that. There we go. We now have our video source there. So let's bend these wires a little bit. So we're going to have to, the base is going to be coming in, work out which way we want to orientate this. So the 5 volts there, which is the collector. So we want that side, and then the base will be coming to this video pin, and then that'll be going there because that'll be connecting to this via a resistor. So let's connect the resistor first. Doesn't have to be long. So let's cut this all the way down. I'm also going to put a small bend in it so we can solder it easier to the side. Right, so let's solder those two together. I'll leave my helping hand for that. I think just bending the leg down a little bit should do it. A bit of pre-tinning as well. Okay. It's nicely connected. So what's probably the harder ones are these ones. Especially this 5 volt one, which we also have to make sure doesn't touch the metal casing. Kind of wondering if it'd just be easier to... it probably wouldn't. Okay, that's connected. And the base, which is connected to our video in. And that's connected, right. So I need 2 more connections to make. First of all, we just want to kind of make it so this fits in without touching anything. There we go. That should be safe enough. Yeah, that should be safe enough. I don't think it's touching the outside plug. I guess we'll find out soon. Actually, let's find out right now. Let's not leave it so we forget. Let's just do a quick, make sure we're not bridging to ground. We are not. Excellent. And the final ones we have to do, so let's move in a little bit more. So the final connection, we need to do the ground connection here. I have made this a bit too long. I'm just going to hook that over there. We could solder it, I don't think we particularly need to. It'll be held on by the lid, but we'll give it a splash just to make sure. Okay. So that will hold that in place. And then we just need to make a connection from here to the actual plug. So we can probably, that didn't hold at all, look at that. We can do that, I imagine. So that will hold that in place. And then we'll sort out the ground again. There we go, that's connected. That's connected. Right, we just want to bend over this lead as well to make sure it doesn't touch ground here. Just bend it over on itself. Again, you could just remove this whole modulator case, remove all the components on the inside and just have it empty, so you can, it would make it a lot easier. Plus you could do this whole modulator outside the case as well, obviously. But anyway, that looks pretty good to me. Let's replace this. It's going to be a bit more of a tight fit than it was before, but it should still go on. I've got it the wrong way, admittedly. There we go. Now let's stick this back in the case. There's no point putting the keyboard on because the keyboard is not going to work currently. But we'll put it in the case to make sure we don't get any weird shorts. Right, so now what we need to do is connect it to a composite display and turn it on. Alright, let's try plugging her in. Oh, signal. Hey! There we go. Can we see that on the screen? Yeah, we can. You can see the cursor there. Our little K. And it's quite a nice white screen. I think we're going to have to change the resistance that we're using. I did in fact add a 220 ohm resistor between the video output and the transistor. That is way too high. As you can see, it's slightly muddy white, but we can drop that down, and probably 100 I think will give us a decent enough picture. But that looks pretty clear. And it now means, of course, we can start recording this digitally. I was not recording this digitally because we didn't know exactly what was going to work, because you never know. Some of the earlier ones won't display the picture properly, so yeah, that's why that's why we decided to test it for putting it for in digital. But that's it. Now I need to go off and put this back together and make the thing slightly safer than it is, and also see if I can fix that keyboard. But yeah, let's wrap up. There we have it. It's working. So yeah, I had to do a couple of things kind of in between. They weren't big, so I didn't bother videoing them. I also replaced the caps on it. There's only 2 real caps on there, and I just replaced those just to make sure that wasn't causing me any issues. It wasn't. It turned out, actually, in the end, it was a problem with my mini screen. It doesn't like the signal. Worked completely fine on my normal screen, so my normal game recording setup. So there you go, one of those odd things. I did put it all back together, and I cut back the the membrane, but as I was putting it back in, it just started to crack again. So half the keyboard is working, but I think I'm just going to have to get a new membrane and replace it. Membrane keyboards. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like the video, please hit like. If you really like the video, please hit subscribe. If you didn't like the video or you have something else to say, then please leave it in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the bell icon wherever it appears to make sure you get told of any new videos we release, so you get to see them. You get those viewing figures up. See you next time.
The present is horrible. The future looks bleak. Remember our childhood to get us through the week. We're getting re-enthused. Back to the past and the things we used. We all know that our pasts were great, escaping the things that today we hate. Getting re-enthused.